How to be mentally strong, 4 lessons from Zen Buddhist wisdom in English. Hello everyone, and welcome to Zen Buddhism Wisdom, your sanctuary for profound Buddhist teachings, spiritual clarity, and the timeless wisdom that can transform your life from within. Have you ever wondered why some people seem unshaken by life's challenges, while others crumble under pressure? What is the secret behind those who maintain inner peace, even in the face of adversity? Is mental strength simply a matter of willpower, or is there something deeper, something that goes beyond sheer determination? Today, we're exploring a powerful truth that has been misunderstood for centuries. What does it truly mean to be mentally strong? Many believe that mental strength is about suppressing emotions, pretending to be unaffected by pain, or pushing through struggles with sheer force. But Buddhism offers a completely different perspective. True resilience is not about resisting suffering, it's about understanding and transforming it. Why is this important? Because suffering is inevitable. No matter how successful, wealthy, or strong we are, we all face moments of loss, disappointment, and uncertainty. The difference lies in how we respond. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the mind is both the source of suffering and the key to liberation. When we understand our own minds, we unlock the ability to remain calm, centered, and unshaken, no matter what life throws our way. In this video, we will uncover the deepest Buddhist insights on mental strength, not just how to endure difficulties, but how to develop an unbreakable inner peace that allows you to move through life's storms with wisdom, clarity, and grace. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Zen Buddhism Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these transformative teachings. Now, are you ready to unlock the true power of your mind and cultivate unshakable mental strength? Let's begin. The first and most essential step to developing mental resilience is mastering the mind. Our thoughts shape our reality. If we allow our minds to be restless and uncontrolled, they will drag us into endless cycles of anxiety, fear, and dissatisfaction. But if we learn to calm and direct our thoughts, we can cultivate clarity, focus, and inner peace. A well-known Zen teaching compares the mind to a river. When the river is turbulent, it is difficult to see clearly. But when the water settles, it reflects the sky with perfect clarity. Similarly, when our minds are clouded by restless thoughts and emotions, we lose clarity and become easily overwhelmed. But when we practice mindfulness and still the mind, we can see things as they truly are. Mindfulness meditation is one of the most powerful tools for mastering the mind. By learning to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them, we create distance between ourselves and our emotions. This allows us to respond to situations with wisdom rather than react impulsively out of fear or anger. There is a story of a young monk who struggled with constant worry. No matter how much he tried to silence his thoughts, they would not go away. One day, his teacher took him to a pond and asked him to stir the water with a stick. The water became cloudy, obscuring his reflection. Then, the teacher told him to stop stirring. As the water settled, his reflection became clear again. "This is your mind," the teacher said. "The more you struggle against your thoughts, the more restless they become. But if you simply observe them without resistance, they will settle on their own." This story illustrates the power of mindfulness. The key to mental strength is not in suppressing thoughts but in observing them without attachment. When we stop fighting our emotions and instead allow them to come and go like waves, we gain mastery over the mind. Another essential aspect of mental strength is the ability to accept impermanence. One of the greatest sources of suffering is our attachment to things that are destined to change. We cling to relationships, possessions, and identities, believing that they will bring us lasting happiness. But when they inevitably change or disappear, we experience deep pain. Buddha taught that all things are impermanent. The seasons change, people grow old, and circumstances shift. When we resist this natural flow of change, we create suffering for ourselves. But when we embrace impermanence, we develop a deep sense of peace and resilience. There is a famous Buddhist story about a king who asked a wise monk for a phrase that would always be true, no matter the situation. The monk replied, "This too shall pass. Whether we are experiencing joy or sorrow, success or failure, everything is temporary." Understanding this allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. From a psychological perspective, acceptance of impermanence helps reduce anxiety and increase emotional resilience. When we let go of the illusion of control, we become more adaptable and less fearful of change. Another key lesson in mental strength is learning to respond to situations with wisdom rather than react impulsively. Many people believe that reacting quickly is a sign of strength. However, true strength lies in the ability to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with our values. A Zen master once said, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Life will always bring challenges, but we have the power to choose how we respond. Instead of letting anger, fear, or frustration dictate our actions, we can cultivate patience, understanding, and compassion. From a psychological standpoint, this aligns with the concept of emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate emotions and respond to situations in a thoughtful manner. When we pause before reacting, we activate the rational part of our brain rather than the instinctual, emotional response system. A powerful story illustrates this principle. A man once insulted the Buddha, trying to provoke him. But the Buddha remained calm and did not respond. When asked why he did not retaliate, he said, "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" This story teaches us that we do not have to accept the negativity that others try to give us. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to protect our inner peace. Finally, true mental strength comes from finding peace within rather than seeking validation from external sources. Many people believe that strength comes from success, wealth, or the approval of others. However, these things are fleeting and can be taken away at any moment. Buddha taught, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. When we stop depending on external validation, we become truly unshakable. If our confidence is based on others' opinions, it will always be fragile. But when we cultivate a deep sense of inner worth, no external circumstances can shake us. To develop this kind of strength, we must practice self-reflection, gratitude, and detachment from ego-driven desires. When we let go of the need for approval, we find a profound inner peace that no external force can take away. Mental strength is not about being unaffected by life's challenges but about navigating them with wisdom and grace. By mastering our minds, accepting impermanence, choosing our responses wisely, and seeking inner peace rather than external validation, we develop resilience that is unbreakable. Through Buddhist wisdom, psychology, and spiritual insight, we can cultivate a mind that remains steady in the face of life's storms. Imagine waking up every day with a mind that is calm, clear, and unshakable. No longer controlled by fear, no longer reactive to negativity, just a deep, unwavering peace that allows you to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. This is the power of true mental strength. And here's the truth, you already have this strength within you. The ability to master your mind, embrace change, and respond with wisdom is not something outside of you, it is something you can cultivate, starting now. Now is the time to take action. Begin by observing your thoughts without attachment. Accept impermanence and let go of resistance. Choose your response instead of reacting impulsively. Seek peace within, rather than relying on external validation. Which of these teachings resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey towards inner strength can inspire others. We are building a community of wisdom seekers and spiritual explorers. Join us by subscribing to Zen Buddhism Wisdom and turning on the notification bell, so you never miss life-changing insights. Together, let's cultivate unshakable peace and resilience. Let go, find strength, and walk the path of wisdom. See you in the next video.